Hello and welcome back. I'm Mike.
And this is Aiden.
And Aiden is back with another deck. What's the word I'm looking for?
Deck profile.
Deck profile, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a late night for this one. Cool. And this is the new structure deck, isn't it?
It is. It's quite interesting. It's based around the dark. It actually, why I was interested in this one when I first heard of it, because it reminds me of classic Yu-Gi-Oh! It's to do with tributes and the virus cards, if you ever remember those as well, which is pretty nice.
Cool.
So yeah.
So you added some stuff into this, I'm guessing, then?
Yeah, this isn't...
Go.
What I would say is you can actually build a lot of this deck from just getting 3 structure decks and then adding some budget cards in.
Happy days.
Because it's not heavily reliant on the extra deck, although it's nice to have some things, but you don't need to use it.
Cool. Show us what you got then, buddy.
So, first off, we got 1, 2, 3 of the big guys. So, Darkest Diabolos. This guy's like insane because he's got like super high attack, nice defense, which obviously contributes to your virus cards. So super easy to bring out. So basically, if a dark monster is tributed, so it doesn't have to be your side of the field, it just means in general, you can special summon this card from your hand or your graveyard, and then his own 2 effects is, well, that's obviously part 1 of the effect, sorry. And then the other part of his effect is that you contribute 1 dark monster. So again, doesn't have to be yours. It can be the opponent's, but obviously you can't just pick your opponent's, which is where another card will come in handy later on. But you contribute a dark monster and place 1 card from your opponent's hand on either the top or the bottom of the deck. So you can sort of rip cards from their hand at sort of no extra cost, really, when obviously we talk about the field spell.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's insanely broken, and I was like thinking about running 2 because you can only use it once per turn, but seeing this guy like as soon as possible is quite essential. So whether he's in your graveyard or in your hand, it's just nice to have. And then 3 Lilith, Lady of Lament. So she's really cool. So what she does is she's got 2000 attack, but if you normal summon her, she gains her attack goes down to 1000, which makes her a crush card virus target as well. But we like to use her for her effects, so you contribute her during either player's turn as a quick effect, and then target 3 normal trap cards from your deck, and your opponent picks 1, and then you set that card, and then the other 2 get shuffled back into the deck. So you can sort of thin your deck for virus cards, and she doesn't have to tribute herself as well. Again, if you have the field spell, you can use your opponent's monsters as the tribute instead. So yeah, she's insanely good. Triple Arima, the Wicked Warden. So this guy's amazing because you can discard him to add Lair of Darkness from your deck to your hand. So basically free search of the field spell. You contribute a dark monster to draw a card. So essentially, if you do have the field spell, you contribute your opponent's monsters and then draw a card. If you tribute a dark monster other than himself to use his effect, you can alternatively add 1 dark monster from your deck. I think it's with 2000 or more defense, so you can search your boss monster straight away from that. So again, insanely broken. 2 Armageddon Knights, so really cool. When he's summoned, just send 1 card or dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. So you can sort of mill Steam, the Blackwing, you can do Destrudo, the dragon, or you could do your boss monster, and you've just got instant access to him from there. Pretty much into the one-ofs now. So we got 1 tour guide, so she can summon 1 level 3 Fiend from your hand or deck when she's summoned. It can be a quite sort of situational combo because it does negate the monster's effect, but because their effects tribute themselves and the effects trigger when they go to the graveyard, you can still activate their effects, so she's okay to use. 1 Destrudo, so this card is absolutely amazing. He's your tuner, so if he's in your hand or graveyard, you can pay half your life points and summon it directly to the field, and then as long as you have a monster that's level 6 or lower, you target it first, then special summon it, and then his level gets reduced by the amount of the monster that you selected on the field before you summoned him. So if you had a level 3 on the field, pay half your life points, special summon him, and it lowers him down to a level 4 because he's a level 7. So it can actually create some good combos, which I can not show you, but I can just sort of tell you what he can do. Blackwing Steam the Cloak, really good card if he's in your graveyard. You contribute 1 monster on the field and special summon him back from the graveyard. He can't be used as synchro materials unless it's for a Blackwing, but you mainly want it because the key point is obviously tribute to special summon him. With the field spell, you contribute and your opponent's monster, and then you special summon this guy back from the graveyard, and then use him as tribute fodder for other cards in the deck. And then we've got 1 Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. This is like quite a weird one because I don't see anyone running it at all.
It's really odd to chuck in there.
You don't really care about the pendulum effect, and the monster effect is like okay, but the key point is if it's in your graveyard and you control no monsters, you can special summon it. So if you do have a completely, if you say you brick, and you can't sort of fix your hand, if this guy's in your graveyard, you can bring him back, and then with other cards in the deck, you can start creating plays again. And he's a level 4, which helps as well. And then this guy, like quite unique, Umbral Horror Ghost. I don't see anybody running this card at all, but I think it's absolutely amazing because you can't normal summon the same turn you use this guy's effect, which is you can special summon him from your hand and 1 level 4 or lower fiend, and then he will create basically options for you. So you can use this summon your Arima, which can then tribute either the Horror Ghost to search a card, to search the your boss monster, or you can start using it for like other plays as well, which is really good. And then just because I couldn't resist, I had to have just had to have the 2 hand traps, but only 2 because they don't combo with anything in this deck, and if you draw too many, it's quite bad, and you can suffer from sort of bad hands in this deck. You don't want to sort of add to it. So that was the monsters. I think there was 18 there overall. Onto the spells. The most broken field spell. I wouldn't say ever, but it's definitely up there because. So do you know what this does?
In honesty, no. I've not been keeping up with this one.
Okay, so basically all face-up monsters on the field become dark. So because everything sort of revolves around dark monsters. And then once per turn, if you would tribute a monster to activate a card effect, you contribute a dark monster your opponent controls instead of your own. So you contribute your opponent's monster to activate your boss monster's effect. You contribute their monsters to activate certain spell cards you have, other monster effects. It is absolutely insane because it's non-targeting and it can just basically remove things for free. It's pretty unfair, but it's pretty cool.
That's why I have 3 of them.
Yeah. And then end of the turn, the turn player gets tokens summoned to their side of the field up to the number of monsters that were tributed the turn. So, you know, you can get free resources back after you've already taken your opponent's stuff as well. It's unnecessarily, but it's fun. Cool. Last field spell, Dragon's Ravine. I don't see many people running this, but the reason I use it is because it's a terraforming target. And obviously we don't care about the Dragunity effect, just the sending 1 dragon monster from your deck to the graveyard. So you can send your boss monster, you can send Darkworm, or you could send Destrudo to sort of set up more plays later on. And then 2 terraforming, I was going to go at 3, and then the amount of times in sort of hand shuffling, hand tests, or even games, I was like seeing the field spell and then maybe 2 of this, and it's just no. So 2 is fine. And then only 2 Allure, because technically you'd probably think run 3 if you suffer from bad hands, because these things will fix bad hands, but you don't want to banish too many sort of key materials. And the deck can sort of naturally fix itself as you play if you get the right card, so this kind of just helps. I think these are the one-offs now, so 1 Foolish Burial, pretty self-explanatory. 1 Dragon Shrine, again, it's like Foolish, just mills a dragon. Melody of Awakening Dragon. This is like one that I don't see being run either. So you can add up to 2 dragon monsters from your deck with 3,000 or more attack and 2,500 or less defense. So your only target is your boss monster, but it's just another means to sort of get him to your hand. 1 Monster Reborn. I think, is that my one-offs? I don't know. And then 1 Enemy Controller. This card's amazing in this deck, and again, I'm not seeing it being run. So it can save you in the battle phase, so if they attack you, you don't have anything, switch it to defense, that's always good. Other than that, tribute a monster and take control of one of your opponent's monsters. So again, if you've got the field spell, you contribute one of their monsters and then take control of one of their monsters. That's just not fair.
No.
And then this one as well. Again, I don't see it being run, but in all fairness, I found this on a forum as a recommendation, and I just had to use it. So, share the pain, tribute one monster, and then make your opponent tribute one monster for no effect. So normally you think, why run this? But again, back to the field spell, you can make them tribute a monster, and then you tribute another monster. So basically, you just get rid of 2 monsters for sort of no extra cost. It's ridiculous. That was the spells. I'm not sure. I think there was like 14, 15 spells. Trap cards. My virus cards that I run are 2 full force. Again, it's probably one of the best sort of virus cards. It destroys most decks these days because most monsters have 1500 or less defense anyway. So that's why I run 2 of this one. One of the Eradicator virus. Unfortunately, it's only at 1. I would run more if I could. 1 crush card and 1 deck devastation, because these 2 really destroy hand traps as well, which can be your weakness, but overall they can sort of turn the tide just by activating one of these. And also with the field spell, you contribute your opponent's monsters to activate these cards, so that's just crazy. And then the last 2 cards are back to the front. So I wanted to find ways to get more materials on the field when I need them, especially say if I've just used my virus cards or things like that. I was running Call of the Haunted, and then I realised how I was being stupid, because Lilith can search normal trap cards from your deck, so Call of the Haunted didn't count, whereas this one is a standard trap card. So downside is it does summon it in defense, but hopefully you're probably just going to tribute it off the next turn when you actually play this card anyway. So that was the main deck. That was 40 cards. Moving on to the extra deck, as I said, you don't need to run an extra deck. In all honesty, a lot of the cards in here you might think, why do I run it? But it's just another option if you run out of sort of cards to play. My only 2 links are Decode and Underclock Taker. 1 because Underclock is actually really good and he's super easy to summon. Decode, 3 cards, but obviously one of his key effects is he can tribute cards to negate card effects that target them, or cards that you control that would be destroyed. You can protect them by tributing materials, which then will in turn tribute I can't speak tonight.
Yes.
Which in turn will then activate your, say, boss monster's effect to start summoning. So he's just a really good all-around card. Synchros are run. The one-offs are Dark Strike Fighter.
Yeah, you can do it.
Ancient Fairy Dragon, Clearwing Synchro, Black Rose, and then Trishula. So this card, you might think, well, how can you actually make this card? If you remember saying I was running the Umbral Horror Ghost, which is a 2-star monster. Let's say, for example, we use Umbral Horror Ghost. We special summon it, and then special summon, for example, Lilith from our hand. So we've got a total of 5 stars on the field. And then we have Destrudo in the graveyard. We special summon him back with his own effect. And then we target the Lilith, which is a 3 stars, which reduces him to 4 stars, which means combined with Umbral Horror, Lilith, and your now obviously newly leveled Destrudo, you have 9 stars, which means you can make Trishula that easy. So anyone who was like wondering about Umbral Horror Ghost, he's actually a really solid choice to put in the deck. And the other cards are just like Dark Strike Fighter just combines with the deck really well, because again he tributes monsters for effects, and you inflict free piercing sort of damage with it as well. So Clearwing for your monster effects, Black Rose nukes the board, Ancient Fairy searches field spells. So you got pretty much something for most situations there. Rounding it off with the Xyz monsters, we got the Utopias, you know, standard sort of rank 4. 1 Dark Rebellion, because you can make it, it's dark, and I just like the artwork, so I was like, screw it. Yeah. And then Phantom Knights of Bricksword, because it's an easy rank 3 to make, and it can pop a card for free as well. So you don't, as I said, you don't really go into these a lot, but it's always there if you need it. And yeah, and that was the deck, guys.
Certainly different, as is per usual with your stuff. You don't like to do the same old, same old.
No, I like to run sort of a few unique things here and there and try them out. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but I thought they were quite unique, some of the cards, so yeah, chose to run them.
So you're going to be trying that out in the locals, I'm guessing.
Definitely.
Happy days. Cool. What did you guys think? Did you like this deck? The changes you'd like to do? Or do you think that's inspired? I must do the same thing. Do say so down in the comments below. I'm sure you'll appreciate seeing people going, you're wrong, you're weird, that's stupid.
The main reason is people say you can't run this deck in the pure build, that you have to run it with Infernoids. And I admit the Infernoids is a really good version, but it said you have to run a lot of extra cards just to make your combo plays work, and I feel they're unnecessary. So by all means, if you want to use that, it's fine, but I'd recommend for you to try the pure build because it is actually a lot of fun as well.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for showing that today. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy this, give us a thumbs up and all that jazz. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. We're nearly at that 1,000 mark there. I think we got like 40 odd people to go.
952.
It's ridiculous. But yes, until next time, it's goodbye from me.
And peace out from me, guys.
See ya.